or somebody else. Let's look at the news real quick. Google News. Police conduct raid near Paris. They're going to ride that for a while. You're going to be hearing a lot about Paris. Not necessarily because of what happened, but because the media knows that it can sell news right now, and it will. So they're going to find all kinds of little buried needles in the haystacks. Oh, this terrorist may have come from here who may have known President Obama. You'll hear all kinds of shit like that. An ISIS militant from Belgium whose own family wanted him dead. That's pretty bad. Bobby Jindal's out. He's out. Ends his campaign. Says it's not his time. Well, you may be kind of damning yourself there, because if you quit a race, I don't know if I see you coming back. Not a lot of candidates can quit in one race and then come back and win another. Guess it all depends on the climate at the time. Boko Haram blast a truck stop, kills 32 in Nigeria. Something good to talk about. We don't seem to care, do we? We don't seem to care in America as much about those black people dying as those white people dying. Now, if you care to read it, in this month's Scientific American Mind, November-December issue, they talk a lot about police brutality. And one of the things they found is that when they did a study, they had people shooting at targets in a video game. Both black and white participants were quicker to shoot at the black targets than the white targets. They were also more likely to shoot unarmed people. You know, those games where you have to figure out if they're carrying a gun or just a cell phone or something. They're more likely, black and white participants in the study, more likely to shoot the black characters first. And one of the themes of this article that they kept mentioning was implicit bias. That means that so black cops are more likely to shoot black suspects. This was also proven in another leg of the same study. That either black people are more dangerous per capita, or that the narrative in America has made people fear blacks more than whites. I think there's probably a little bit of both. I think that, in general, the chance of you getting shot or robbed or mugged or raped by a black person is higher than with a white person. The statistics show that. But that doesn't mean that you should apply any type of stereotype to a whole race. Every person, as I saw in a recent movie, I think it was a Civil War movie, Gettysburg or one of those, judge each person individually. You have to, or you're not going to have an accurate view of what you're looking at. So we have to get past the implicit bias. And that's not going to be easy because it's in our nature and it's reinforced by what media reports. The only way you could really fight implicit bias is through sensitivity training, which is effective, or changing the narrative. If you show on your news network, and you're a popular news network, 60% of the attacks across the country that were done by whites, 20% that were done by blacks, and say 20% that were done by other minorities, you might have a whole different outlook on your culture. But would that be fair? Would that represent per capita what's happening in the country? I don't know. I think we'd have to go with the statistics. And then you have to ask yourself, of all these blacks that are in prison, I think our prisons are 83% black. How many of them actually did the crime? How many of them, had they been white, would have never been arrested for the crime? Until you answer those questions, you can't really know if that's a fair number of people. And then there's always the argument of, yes, I did the crime, but it's because I couldn't get a job, because I'm black. Well, I doubt everybody goes through that. But that's what they're claiming. I feel like Mr. Rogers here. I'm taking my shoes off. Glad you could join me, Andrew, Mr. White. By the way, Mr. White, if you want me to play some of your songs on my show, I'll be happy to. Just send them to me. Send them to whatsthedeal@yahoo.com. That's WUTZ, the deal, at yahoo.com. Anybody else that listens has some songs you want me to play, send them to me. I'll put it in the chat room so you can get in touch with me. Please send them in MP3 format. There we go. And I'll be happy to play your songs unless they're racist, sexist, or otherwise. I don't know. I'll probably play them anyway. What else is going on? New apps help Palestinians navigate Israeli checkpoints. Of course, that's what they need. New Zealand rugby star Jonah Lomu dies at 40. Did not know that. IS militants dig in, anticipating assault on Syria's Raqqa Rack, rack, a rack, rack, rapper, rapper, rack. And rise of ISIS, no single missed key but many strands of blame. Yes, there is. Assailants in Bangladesh attack Catholic missionary. Oh, Stappy's going to be upset. They might have guns, but we have flowers. Oh, that lordy. Oh, lordy. 3 killed, thousands without power in northwest windstorm. 3 killed. And that's at the top of the U.S. news. 3 killed. Do you have any idea what the headlines would look like if they actually talked about the deaths going from largest number killed to smallest? You'd have never heard about these 3 killed. You would have never heard about it. But drama's what gets you. The weather's coming to kill you. Baltimore riots report police must train for large-scale critical incidents. Yeah. FBI agent says he posed as vulgar player in San Francisco crime group. I don't care. Massive fire tears through Leetsdale Industrial Park, prompts evacuation. And where the fuck is Leetsdale? Allegheny, Beaver counties? I have no idea where the fuck Leetsdale is. So, yeah, that helps. Oh, Lord. Iraq is flooding America with lots of oil. Good for them. We're moving away from oil, so. Technology. Here's how Google will get you to use Google Plus again. Google Plus, as you may know, was kind of on the downfall. People are like, no, I'm not going to use it. And they're trying again. They're coming back, and I know one of the things they're offering is to store all your pictures off your devices so you don't have to keep them on your devices. So they're going basically with the bigger cloud presence for you. So it might be something you want to look at. If you were using Google Plus before and you found it lacked, it may not lack what it did lack before. And then it says Google lowers minimum price for Android apps and in-app purchases in 17 countries. I wonder if America's one of them. Charlie Sheen's HIV confession promotes horophobia. Well, what do you guys think about that? Charlie Sheen, if I had to guess, what are the top 10 Hollywood stars that are most likely to contract HIV? He would have been at the top of the list. I mean, you could just see it coming. Reckless in everything that he does, including, obviously, the promiscuous nature in which he behaves. And for some reason, the one girlfriend that he did not tell he had HIV felt it necessary to mention to the media, if I remember correctly, that they were using lambskin rubbers. That's important, I guess. David Beckham is People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive for 2015. I actually won that award, but I said, you know, I don't care about it, so give it to David Beckham. And they're like, all right, if you insist. So that's all right. Agent Carter is headed to Hollywood for action, adventure, and romance. Good for her. Ooh, is that who I think it is? I don't know, but the lady that played in Captain America, God, was she hot. Little bit too hot. Something's wrong there. I suspect much surgery at work. Oh, let's see. 5 observations from the 3rd CFP rankings. Come on, give us something we care about. Come on, here's science. Now, I do love me some science. Prehistoric tooth reveals surprising details about long-lost human cousins. So we've got another branch off of the tree of life. That's nice. Where will the first astronauts on Mars land? Not a big deal. Not really a big deal. Obama expected to sign bill delaying commercial space safety deadline. Okay, whatever. Bats' heavy wings help them land in upside-down position. Can you believe that? This is science news? I mean, fucking, is this Google? I'm leaving Google News. They're not telling me what I want to hear. You know how we are. We're humans. So let's go to news that isn't Google News. Oh, for Christ's sake. News. N to the E to the W to the shit. News. What are you people saying in chat room there? Mr. White says, I use Dropbox for storage. Don't throw lambskin condoms on the floor if you have a cat. Cats eat them. Damn. Now how the hell did you know that, Mr. White? No, I need to know. Did this happen? Was this personal experience, or did you read that somewhere? Because I know there's a cat magazine. I saw it in Goon. Yeah, well, I'm going to wait for Mr. White to answer that very personal question there. And we are going to pull up a different source for news. News. Not Google News, just news, bitch. Let's see who comes up first. There's Google. There's Fox. We're not doing Fox, sorry. CNN, we're not doing CNN either. Yahoo. BBC. I respect BBC. Deadly Paris raid on attack suspects. We already know about that. Obama's war of words. The false story of Zuhair. What does Le Marseillais mean? Paris attacks wake-up call to West. Well, it should be, but it won't be. It won't be. I mean, you saw what we did after the mass shootings in the past 10 years. Just nothing changes. If it requires money for security, nothing changes. Nothing. Not in America. How a Syrian refugee gets to the U.S. How does IS communicate securely? You guys may have heard that ISIL, ISIS, dickwads, whatever you want to call them, and they are a bunch of fuckfaces, as John Oliver so eloquently put it. They have some apps that basically encrypt communications, and they're free, and these terrorist organizations are using them now. So even if we put our best people on it, it could take weeks or months, depending on the encryption, to crack into these communications. So it's amazing what technology will do for criminals. And it always seems to be a chase, doesn't it? First the criminals act, then the police or the security forces react. Usually too late. Brain wrinkle linked to hallucinations. Man, damn, this would explain Barco right here. I gotta pull that up right quick. Yeah, I like to learn with you. Don't play video. You fucking play video. A study of 153 brain scans linked a particular furrow near the front of each hemisphere to hallucinations and schizophrenia. How about that shit? So I'm guessing we just cut that out, right? Sew it back together, call it a day. It's called the paracingulate sulcus, or PCS. Wow. That means that you can go get a brain scan to see if you're more likely to have schizophrenia or hallucinations. And I'm not talking about those of you that do the mushrooms and the LSD. I know most of my listeners do mushrooms and LSD. Smallpox general in U.S. University Row. Smallpox general. What does that mean? See, this is where the BBC loses me, because they start doing this fucking Cockney shit. What does that even mean? Here we go. An 18th century British general is at the center of a U.S. university dispute about racism and biological warfare. Yeah, whatever. I'm not enjoying the news right now, guys. We're going back random again. Just not feeling it. You know, I feel for the French people. I love the French people. I've tried for roughly 7 academic years to learn their language. I think part of that was your cat ate one a long time ago. Mr. White's cat ate a lambskin condom, just so you know. And my guess is that that condom had already been used, or it probably wouldn't have been on the floor. So bless that kitty's heart. I hope everything came out okay. I'm sure what you ended up with was a turd and some sperm and a condom on the other end. Shit happens. This is what we do. Sorry, kitty. I love cats. Don't want to see him eat the lambskin condom, but hell, it's better than what are the other ones made of? It's better than those other chemicals. So we don't want them eating, what the fuck is it called? What are they made of? Blankety blank, I can't remember. I haven't had a need for one in a long time, I'll put it that way. I have had a natural decrease in testosterone, something most men would not admit to. I love it. I feel like I have my independence back. I'm not a slave to the vaginals. I can look at a pretty woman dead in the eye and say, those tricks don't work on me, honey. Yeah. Latex, that's right. Thank you, Mr. White. I knew it was 2 syllables. Condoms. You should probably use those, I guess, if you guys are still out there fucking. I have a friend who I would say he gets his fair share of A, and he uses them, but one way or another, you know, they're talking about these new viruses and bacteria. I shouldn't say new, but new to us because of the Arctic ice melting and it's releasing old bugs. And I think that's another way to try to scare you, but it is happening on at least a small scale. We get the wrong one, it's going to be a major problem because, you know, if we hit something like the plague comes through and we're not ready for it, it takes time to find cures for that shit. And that's why I hope that the medical community worldwide is thinking proactively and testing, you know, variations, heuristics, if you will, of the viruses and bacteria that are out there. because we may get hit by a nasty one.